Hey everyone, welcome back to Science and Psychology. Today we're tackling a mind-bending question. Is free will real, or is it just an illusion? When you choose what to wear or what to eat, are you truly in control, or are your choices shaped by forces beyond your awareness? Let's dive into this fascinating debate at the intersection of science, psychology, and philosophy. Let's start with the basics. Free will is the idea that we can make choices that aren't completely determined by prior causes. It's that gut feeling that you could have picked tea instead of coffee this morning. It's central to how we see ourselves as individuals. But here's the twist. Many scientists and philosophers argue this sense of control might be a mirage. Let's explore why. The argument against free will often hinges on determinism, the idea that every event, including our thoughts and actions, is caused by a chain of prior events. If everything is predetermined by factors like your genetics, upbringing, or environment, where does free will fit in? This perspective, called hard determinism, suggests our choices are inevitable outcomes of these causes, leaving no room for true freedom. Neuroscience backs this up with some intriguing evidence. In the 1980s, Benjamin Libet conducted a groundbreaking experiment, Libet's study. He asked participants to make simple decisions, like moving their finger while monitoring their brain activity. Libet found a readiness potential, a burst of brain activity, about 350 milliseconds before participants reported being aware of their decision. This suggests the brain might be deciding before we consciously choose. Libet's findings sparked debate. He noted a brief window, about 100 to 200 milliseconds, where participants could veto their action after the readiness potential began. Some see this as a sliver of free will, but others argue it's too short to count as genuine control. Either way, it challenges the idea that we're fully in charge. Psychologist Daniel Wegner took this further in his book, The Illusion of Conscious Will, Wegner's book. He argued that our sense of controlling our actions is often an illusion. For example, studies show that priming, subtle cues like words or images, can influence our behavior without us realizing it, yet we still feel like we're choosing freely. Wegner suggests our brain creates a narrative of control after the fact. Neuroscientist and philosopher Sam Harris is even more direct. In his book, Free Will, Harris's book, he argues that free will is an illusion shaped by factors we don't control, like our genes, life experiences, and brain states. Harris uses a chilling example, the 2007 Cheshire, Connecticut home invasion. He says if he had the same genes and experiences as the perpetrators, he'd have acted the same way. This implies our actions are products of circumstances, not free choices. Harris also points to neurological disorders, like brain tumors, that can drastically alter behavior. These cases show how physical changes in the brain can drive actions, suggesting our neurophysiology might always be in the driver's seat. He argues there's no intellectually sound way to defend free will against this deterministic view. But hold on, not everyone agrees free will is an illusion. Some research suggests we might have more control than we think, especially for meaningful decisions. A 2019 study by Yuri Maus and Liad Mudrik explored, in this study, participants chose which nonprofit to donate $1,000 to, a meaningful choice, while others made arbitrary choices like which button to press. The results were striking. Meaningless choices showed the usual readiness potential in the brain, but meaningful choices didn't. This suggests that decisions with personal significance might involve a different kind of brain process, possibly hinting at free will in those moments. Then there's compatibilism, a philosophical view that says free will and determinism can coexist. Compatibilism. Compatibilists argue that even if our desires are shaped by prior causes, we're free as long as we act on those desires without external coercion. So choosing coffee because you love it, even if your love for coffee was shaped by your past, counts as free will. It's a middle ground that tries to reconcile determinism with our sense of agency. So what does this mean for us? If free will is an illusion, it could shake up how we think about morality and responsibility. A 2002 study by Kathleen Vose and Jonathan Schooler study found that people primed to believe free will is an illusion were more likely to cheat on a test or steal money. This suggests that believing in free will might encourage moral behavior by fostering a sense of accountability. On the flip side, If free will is real, it reinforces our sense of personal responsibility. But denying free will could lead to a more compassionate justice system. If actions are determined by factors beyond our control, should we focus on rehabilitation instead of punishment? It's a question that challenges how we structure society. This debate isn't just academic, it hits at the core of who we are. Do you feel like you're in control of your life, or do you ever wonder if your choices are predetermined? It's a lot to think about, and the truth is, we don't have a definitive answer. A 2020 survey of philosophers showed 59.2% lean toward compatibilism, 18.8% toward libertarianism, and 11.2% rejected free will entirely. The rest? Undecided. That shows how complex this is. Interestingly, belief in free will seems to be a cultural universal. Studies, like one by Hagop Sarkisian, show that people across cultures, American, Chinese, Colombian, Indian, tend to reject deterministic explanations of behavior. Yet, personality traits like extroversion can make people more likely to separate determinism from moral responsibility, adding another layer to the debate. This topic really makes you reflect on your own life. Do you feel like you're steering the ship, or are you just along for the ride? Share your thoughts in the comments. I'd love to hear what you think. The debate over free will is far from settled. It's a complex puzzle that blends science, philosophy, and our deepest intuitions about ourselves. Whether free will is an illusion or not, believing in it might shape how we live our lives. So, what do you think? Is free will real or just a comforting illusion? Drop your thoughts below and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more deep dives into science and psychology. See you next time.